Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to the Scooter Report. And looky here, we have a special guest.
How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Oh, I'm trying to get there. I've been working all day. You know how it is. Everybody says, "Oh, the YouTube stuff is so much fun." Yeah, when you set up for 3 hours to record for 30 seconds, then tear everything back down and rebuild it somewhere else. Yeah, then the reality sets in. So,
Yeah, I lost all my notes last night about an hour and a half into writing them and
oh,
had to
okay.
start from scratch.
Yeah. See, I generally I wing it on my lives. I know people that do scripted kind of content, things like that. But for me, I prefer to wing it. I like the natural responses and reactions to things.
I
And
This is most definitely not a script. It's just
right,
notes for me to remind me why I was looking at this particular thing, and
yeah. Oh,
because
I
brain farts are us over here. So
believe me, I get rolling. It doesn't matter if I've got notes. It doesn't matter if I've got a script. I always get drug off in 30 different directions every time I do it. So
and my notes disappear every time I have to click on something else. So
yeah. Well, what I used to do was I would literally write them on paper, and then my camera has a ring light around it on a stand. So I would literally tape them to the front of that. So I always had them right there. And when I needed to go my notes, you just literally look it down real quickly, and you're right on track. So, but
yeah,
you start getting people like Clearwater Chad on and other people, and you might as well throw those notes right out the
forget it.
window because we're
Yeah.
gone. So, yeah.
Hi, fraud. I see you. I do not know if Pup Groomer is in the chat yet. She's my mod,
Okay.
and she's usually, running from work to come and mod. Oh,
Well,
there's Style Audit
style
180
audit.
as well.
Howdy.
Yeah.
So, should I say howdy, A?
So,
We're just right across. Literally, I'm like 20 miles from Windsor. So,
and I don't know how many miles I am from Windsor, but Toronto, it's, you know, I think about a 4 hour drive.
yeah, it's right about 3.5, 4 hours. So we used to make the run up to Pearson Airport up there in Toronto. When I would do the when I would fly out to other countries, I'd do it through Air Canada. Usually had the best rates going, and then for some reason A and Delta came in over top of that, and that's where I've been going since then. As I go over to Chicago now, but yeah, we love making that run up there, and every time we get a chance, we're either over at Niagara Falls or someplace like that. So,
Yeah. Well, oh, I see Sunrise is in the chat. So we
what
do
was
have a mod. She
there? You
just
go.
doesn't have the links.
There you go. There used to be a place up there. I think it was near London or in between London and Toronto, where you could go. It was a hotel that had a water park, a bowling alley, and it had like little indoor rides, a huge arcade, and putt putt golf. We used to take the kids up there all the time.
Hmm. I have no idea.
Can't remember what. Yeah, I can't remember. And then we have friends that they have what do you call a cottage over in Leamington, so we go over there quite a bit as well.
Sure. Yeah.
But I don't know if you've ever been to Leamington, but that's pretty much the tomato capital of Canada, and literally the place smells like rotten tomatoes year round.
Oh,
Yeah,
yikes.
it's weird. It's like going to Battle Creek, Michigan. It literally smells like cereal when you get to Battle Creek.
Oh, we have an area, if you're traveling across the Gardner Expressway, uh, well, part of it anyway. I think part of it's still open. They're doing construction, and I don't even know what they're going to do now. But there's an area near downtown that when you pass through, it
Mhm.
kind of explains why we have been called Hogtown.
Really?
Oh, yeah, it smells horrendous.
Wow.
absolutely horrendous.
Oh, just
I
just
think,
just
sorry,
go through
I
farming areas around here and in Ohio. The smell of livestock is overwhelming in the summertime.
yeah. Um, I think this was, oh, it's, I think well, it's not really a butcher, but it's like where they
Oh,
handle
slaughterhouse.
thank you, slaughterhouse.
Yeah.
See, I told you, brain farts are us.
Oh
That's
yeah.
me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, believe me, I know. You should be around here come the end of November because that's when hunting season is here in Michigan. And every year I have anywhere from 20 to 40 friends that suddenly have become hunters but don't know how to process their own deer. So, guess who they come see?
Yeah. Well, I see everybody. Well, we're starting to get lots of people. Oh, Jen is here now. Yay!
Well,
Hi, Jen.
you got a little bit of competition. Daniel Mustard and Vanessa are live right now,
So
and
is
Miss Kim's
Cubs
live also.
champion and Miss Kim. Yeah, yeah. So but I have my regulars, and I appreciate that.
But you know, I mean, you're pretty close to what both Vanessa and Daniel are drawing, so I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, I had no idea. So, um,
Mm.
yeah. Well, I mean, I chose this time of day because most people are not on, and then everybody started doing it at this time. So, what are you
Oh,
gonna
believe
do?
me, I started doing 8 o'clock pretty much every night of the week, and I was going pretty well with it there for a while. There were a lot of times where I've had lives where I've had almost 2,000 people watching live. Then all of a sudden, I watched the numbers started dropping. I couldn't understand what was going on, so I started checking YouTube to see who else was live. Mark and Claire Headley started coming on at the same time I was,
Mm,
and so I messaged them and I said, "Hey, I would, I don't want to butt heads. I don't think that helps either one of us. If you just let me know when you're going to go live, then we can take care of this. I'll go ahead and I'll move to a different time." Never got a
yeah.
response from them. You
Oh,
know,
yeah.
and I'm posting my lives 2, 3 days in advance. They're literally popping on a half hour before I would go live and doing their stuff. And I asked some other people who knew them real well. I'm like, hey, can you tell them, I want to talk to them. I don't want to have a conflict going on here. And I'm not talking about anger or anything like that. I
Right.
want to make sure that we're not conflicting on times. And the
Right.
response I got was, we're bigger than he is. He's just going to have to deal with it.
Mm,
So I was like,
yeah.
okay, wow, that's nice. So
Yeah. Yeah. I just, like I said, I picked 6 my time because it works for me, and it
yeah,
seemed at the time to be a time where it was like a gap between the daytime shows and the evening shows, and I thought, well, that'll work for me.
yeah, I started trying to do some in the mornings because I had been if I someone had said to me, you ought to think about doing some of the morning lives. It's so daggone hard to keep up with who's going live in the morning times. And
Yeah.
then you got Nat. When she goes live, everybody just basically goes into a ghost town until she's done.
Yeah.
But the thing is she never goes live at the same time. Anywhere from 9:30 to almost noon, she can pop in there, and I like to have a consistent kind of schedule going. I don't like to just pop on for no, with no notice and just see how it goes.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Well, she's gotten more consistent over the last little while.
as she,
Uh, yeah. So that's been helpful, but then as I say that, there've been a couple of times recently where it's not been quite as consistent. So
yeah,
I just knew, first of all, I don't do mornings, so there was not going to be any competition from me there, as if I could compete. Uh, but but also it was just a matter of I wouldn't even try to compete because this show is different from what Natalie does.
Right.
And I actually emailed her and got a very nice response back from her,
Well, that's good.
just letting her know what I was doing and that I really was not trying to compete, that I couldn't compete.
Yeah.
And I still have clips that I should be sending her, but I haven't yet. Anyway, so now that we've let some people get in here, and including Pup Groomer and Sunrise, and now they both have links, so they may be doubling up, and that's okay. I guess we might as well get started. I mean, one of the most important people is here in the chat anyway, and that would be Dusty Soda Pop Dispenser
Machine, fountain, glass
Soda
bottle,
Stream.
plastic bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Uh,
So,
let me check my
besides,
my mic setting real quick here. It may have went through the camera again instead of, how do I check? There we go. Settings, audio.
okay.
Yep, there it goes. All right.
Oh, that's way worse. You're very muffled right now.
Very muffled. Why did my... That's weird.
Okay, that's better. That is better.
Well, it switched out my... It switched... The minute that I switched microphone, it switched out my... It turned off my camera for some reason. So,
Okay.
just trying to get used to technology.
Restream. Yeah, I have. You should. I mean, I know that you've popped in periodically, but
Mhm.
you should see. I am quickly becoming the software. I don't know what the word would be, but it's
The
not
tech advisor
excellent.
to the masses.
No, the exact opposite.
Well, that's the thing is that people think I know what I'm doing with all this stuff, and I know certain things, but I'm not anybody who's tech advanced. I'm not the real savvy about this stuff. A lot of things that I picked up, like I met with, Aaron Smith Levin gave me a lot of tips on the equipment, things like that, and then through Clearwater Chad, got to sit down and have about a 2-hour talk with Matt Cox. And Matt Cox, I think he's getting close to almost 500,000 subscribers now. And talking to Matt about how he sets everything up, how he works his live streams and his edited content. He gave me a lot of great information on that. And that's been one of the things I like doing, is I like passing on the information that I get. If it's working
Yeah,
for me, how does it hurt me if I help somebody else out,
yeah, exactly.
I,
Yeah,
I, I'm constantly sending out emails to larger channels. I'm interested in doing an interview. Would you be interested in doing an interview? And a lot of times I'll get the same response. Not really. Once you hit 50,000 subscribers, then try getting back in touch with us.
oh,
And
yes, yeah,
and some of these folks, I'm like, well, wait a minute. If you're going to diss me at this point, you're at only like 50,000 subscribers. If I hit 50,000, I'm going way above you. I'm not worrying about you anymore if you think yourself that big. So, yeah, I don't understand the lack of humility on people. They,
yeah. I don't honestly get it.
yeah.
Uh,
Now, see, it's saying yours is low too.
okay. Well, let me try. Okay. Maybe if I don't have my keyboard right in front of me. See, I'm set up in my bedroom, so
Well,
I'm actually using a
see,
a,
that's why you
a
need
breakfast tray
get one of
as a
these.
desk. Yes,
There
I
you go.
know, but it didn't come with it, and
I gave one to Chad
finances.
when Chad and I went to Clearwater. He drove over from Buffalo, um, and I gave him a microphone, gave him a mic stand, one of these mic stands, and he never uses it. I'm just like, dude, I gave that to you. Why aren't you using it? Just never had time to set it up. I'm like, oh, it must be nice. So
Oh wow. Okay, is this better?
yeah, you're sounding better. Yeah, I think it was just the
Okay.
distance on the microphone.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, and I don't tend to really turn my head that far.
Oh, okay.
and I know that I have to kind of be facing on to the microphone. So we'll just
Yeah.
see how this goes.
Well,
Um,
a lot of people talk about the fact I seem to talk out of the side of my mouth a lot, and that came from years of, as a police officer, you had the extended
the
microphone for
microphone,
your portable.
right?
You'd have that there, or you're talking into the mic in the car, and so that. I never even notice it, but I notice a lot of the people that I worked with, they start developing the same thing over years too. So for me, having a microphone off to this side, that's it's just how it normally goes for me. So
Sure, sure, that makes sense. Hey, Sunrise, you could send it to me.
I'm like, man, we're gonna have a fight over a $20 microphone stand.
Okay, so aside from chit chatting, why
Yes.
are you here today, John?
Well, one of the things that I like is I'm always, if a channel wants help, they want to be, they're trying to grow, they're trying to do the positive image, they're trying to work, within the community. I think it's beholden on all of us who are streamers to help others out as well.
Yep.
Uh, for me, that help came from Aaron Smith Levin and then through networking with a lot of other people. But, I was a nobody. I had 178 subscribers when I did my first live stream with Aaron. I literally was using my cell phone, and I had propped it up on a shelf on my desk. And that was my first live stream. And then, let's see, am I coming to the birthday party stream? The Bald Wonder has confirmed. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Wow.
Not if you're going to have strippers again this year. I'm not doing it. So that's
Wait, Dusty, you didn't say anything about strippers when you sent me that link.
he gets them from retirement homes. That's what's even worse about
Oh,
it. So
great.
goodness. Oh, so you're trying to seed the crops there, Miss Sunrise Dawn. But I'm Chad's
Yeah,
mod
I
and
see
Poe's
that.
mod and your mod.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Sunrise, that could change.
Well, so
But it wouldn't.
something I've been working on with because one of the things you got to remember is when you get into the microphones like this microphone weighs about 3 pounds. It's a
Hmm.
heavy bodied microphone, and it puts a lot of strain on this. So I've been working on some designs out on the laser where I'm going to cut out my microphone stand out of wood. That way I'll have my logo is right in on it and everything. And um, it'll be stronger. It'll last a lot longer than these do. I wish I had the money to drop 200 or 300 bucks on one of those nice microphone arms like Aaron and Nora have and all that, but I just don't have the cash on hand to do it. So,
Yeah, Amazon is my friend.
amen. Yeah. Don't get nothing from Timu. Ooh,
Nope. Nope. Nope.
the I had a flywheel come apart on me that a friend of mine had purchased from Timu and had it sent to me to do a review of it for my channel.
Oh.
And I was working with this thing and I hadn't even touched anything. I just turned on the grinder and that thing just exploded on me. So,
Oh. Yeah.
yeah. So I
No.
will not be shopping from Timu anymore. So,
No, and I bet the review wasn't terribly positive.
couldn't even do a review. I hadn't even turned the camera on.
Oh wow.
So how do you review something that no longer exists? I mean, I'm going to be picking pieces of that thing out of my garage for the next 2 to 3 years.
Oh
I have no
jeez.
idea where I all went.
Yeah.
So, Dusty, I love Jerry, but that's wait a minute. What did Dusty say about?
he said he said Jerry was the only one getting naked.
Should have never let them two go to L.A. together. Mm,
Oh no. Okay. Um so so on this channel, I promote small channels who are creating anti-Scientology content,
right,
and whether they protest or they sit at home and create content there. I call everyone a content creator that way.
right.
I also support mods and chatters who support those channels. And my philosophy is that we need all of us to bring down the cult.
Oh, absolutely.
So
You know,
that's
you
in
know,
short what the scooter report is.
when I first made a change and started bringing new mods on, Laura Waldy, Miss Sunrise Dawn, Gary Mackey, Anaphylaxis, I would get emails from them. Hey, I've got this other channel wants to know if I can mod for them, and I'm like, why are you asking me? Do it. I'm not going to sit there and tell you you can't mod for someone else. I, I'm just not that kind of person.
Yeah.
There are times that's why I think I have 6 mods for my channel now.
Mhm.
But the thing is that when when one of them has to go off and mod for another channel, because they also mod, let's see, you got Laura Waldy and Gary Mackey are both mods for your lawyer friend Zach.
Right.
So when they go off and they're going to do his, I know I always have mods on hand that can handle everything for me. It's just
Yeah.
for the most part, Laura Waldy is the lead mod. She's my admin mod for my channel. But all the rest of them, one of my things is somebody comes in and they start trolling, because I used to they'd send me emails. Hey, I had to block this person from the channel. You don't need to tell me if they're
Yeah.
that bad. I have faith in you. You go ahead and do what you got to do.
Yeah.
Mods are very important. I don't think they get anywhere near the amount of respect that they should.
No, I completely agree, which is why I included them, because they are, I mean, they're doing this voluntarily because they care.
Yeah.
So, pardon me, as you saw before we even got started, my eyes have decided that this is the time, Mondays and Fridays, to start watering constantly. And I did take an antihistamine, so I don't know why. But
Oh my goodness.
I
Yeah.
do see the eye doctor soon, so I will definitely remember to mention that to her.
You sure it's not your allergies or anything?
I mean, it could be, but like I said, I did take an antihistamine, so
Mm-hmm.
that should prevent
Those
it
just
from happening. But it's
those
like,
just knocked me
uh,
right out.
well, I
They
take
do.
the non-drowsy because if it's not when I'm supposed to be going to sleep, I can fall asleep very easily. So
Mhm. Yeah.
I don't need any help unless I really want to go to sleep. So,
Yeah.
uh,
Well, I'll give you an
um,
idea. I was flying from Chicago to Tokyo. It's a 12-hour flight. And I sat down, and the guy next to me was actually a Navy pilot. He flew the F-18. He was on
mhm,
his way back from visiting family here in the U.S. And we were talking. I said, "Look, man," I said, "I'm not trying to be rude or anything, but I took a couple Benadryl before I got on this plane. I'm going to pass out in just a second." He wakes me up, and I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "Dude, we're landing." And I go, "Really?" He goes, "What did you take again? Because I need to get some of those." And I was like, "Oh, yeah." Oh, they knocked me. I was out for 10 hours.
oh wow, that's a
Yeah.
long time. They
Oh
never
yeah.
knocked me out that much.
I've never flown to Tokyo that fast in my life. I could tell you that.
Yeah,
I
I
literally
bet.
closed my eyes, and when I opened them, I was there. So
Yeah.
going to get some ramen, you know.
So anyway, I guess we should get started here. Um, and I see that our chat is having lots of fun with me having to keep dabbing at my eyes.
Well, you know me, I make the Mustard Brothers cry, so I guess Scooter's going to have to be the next one on the list.
I
So,
guess so. Okay, so that's going to be the rumor, right?
Poe so mean he made Scooter cry.
Yeah. Okay, so I do have just a few clips to
Mhm.
show to start us off, and then,
Okay.
as you saw, I have a very long list of small channels, and I thought that we would just try to go through as many of them as we can just to give them a little bit of a oomph and platform. And some of them, even though I'm subscribed to them, I had completely forgotten because if I'm not getting notifications, they kind of fly out of my head because there are so many.
everybody's everybody's having that problem. I've literally been on my live streams a half hour, and then I'll get the notification on my phone that I'm live, if I get notification at all. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it's I don't know what's up with YouTube, but as Pup Groomer likes to say, YouTube be YouTube, and
Oh
so
yeah. Well, I mean, and their algorithm, what is up with that crap? I was, I have there's over 200 channels in the SPTV verse, and I'm subscribed to dozens of them. I couldn't even tell you how many I'm subscribed to anymore.
hmm
Generally, when I go on YouTube, it's SPTV content, it's aviation content, or police content. Then every once in a while, I'll go on and I'll be like, where did this come from? There's like anime stuff and all that. Oh, one of the kids jumped on under my name on the Google Fire Stick, the Amazon Fire Stick, and was
hmm
watching anime on YouTube. And then next thing you know, they screw my whole algorithm up for the next month. So I don't understand how it is you watch two anime things and suddenly that's all it fills your recommendations with. But I watch, 1,000 hours a week of SPTV and I can't get any in my list.
yeah. I just because I have been watching a few SPTV channels content about Lincoln Park lately, all of a
Oh,
sudden
Lord.
YouTube is sending me to Lincoln Park's YouTube channel, and I'm like, no, no, thank you, especially not now.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that the whole Lincoln Park thing is starting to get a lot of attention. Even Moist Criticals did an episode on it today. So,
Yeah,
I mean, if it gets to it's getting to that point. I think it used to be with Scientology, people were afraid to do anything with it. They were afraid to
yeah,
say anything against it. Even Lewis Rossman, who has a very huge channel where he does a lot of DIY for repairing your computers and your phones and things like that. I did a live about how Lewis Rossman was talking about Scientology, and he literally goes, "I'm not willing to take that fight on at all."
mm,
That's how people used to view Scientology, and I think, and it's like sitting on defense of saying, with as many SPTV channels as we've got, it's suddenly no longer a like you're taking on this monster.
yeah,
It's they're starting, their armor is starting to fade, and we're starting to catch some real grounds on it. Just what was it, just last week, Audit LA and Fat Grammy Mona, they were able to get the city of Los Angeles to tell Scientology they've got to take those planners down.
yep,
you know eh, you think that would have happened 2 years ago?
no,
It,
definitely not.
absolutely.
No.
Oh, hola, Pinche Becky.
Ah, hi, Becky. um, Sorry, when it used to be TV or cable, who was satisfied with only one show? Of course not.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
we had satellite for 20 years. Because you just have so many more options with it than you do with cable, or just antenna TV. I can remember a friend of mine had the big 20-foot dish in the backyard, and we'd be over there watching Russian soap operas at his house.
oh,
It was
wow.
some of the funniest stuff you saw. That you get television from anywhere in the world, and I think that's one of the things that really made me start looking differently at the world, was watching the content from TV shows over there. Now, instead of having to have something like that, all you got to do is pop on your laptop, your phone, your computer, and now you have entertainment from anywhere you want it. And I think
Yeah,
that's just a beautiful thing.
yeah. And I thought it was really advanced when my mom taught me the art of changing channels on commercials before DVRs and VCRs and
Yeah.
everything else. So,
But the corporate greed, it's got to stick its nose in there somehow. Suddenly it went from, you could record something on your DVR and then just fast forward through commercials, to where they started letting, oh, they're fast forwarding through our commercials. Okay, well, we'll make it so they can't do that anymore.
yeah,
And that was about the time we said, you know what, we're about done with regular television or satellite or whatever. We're just going to start live streaming everything. And
I
now what
can
have we
still
got?
fast forward through commercials here. So,
Oh my goodness. You can't even, now even the live streaming services are sticking commercials in. You know,
yes.
we've been Netflix subscribers for probably 10, 15 years now. And now Netflix is like, oh, by the way, if you don't want commercials with your stuff, you're going to have to pay us an extra $10 a month. Well, we were already paying $20 a month for Netflix. So what, I'm going to pay $30 a month? This is going to get to the
Yeah.
point where it's worse than cable.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. Exactly. All
fortunately
right.
my channel pays for my YouTube premium, so I don't have to worry about the commercials and that stuff. But man, if I didn't have that, I would I would definitely be feeling the pinch having to sit through commercials for everybody's content.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I agree. Um, Sadly, I still sit through the commercials. So okay, let's get on this.
All right.
So the first channel that I have a clip from is Power Lies to Paralyze.
Okay.
Um, they have, oh, that's the wrong tab. Let me see. Okay, I just wanted to make sure that I have them in order because sometimes I do not. Uh,
Now, see,
you
that's what
know,
I like about with the way mine's set up. I literally just have tabs with the content I want to show, and then I
oh, so
just
do
hit the
I.
present. Oh, do you?
So
Okay.
do I. However, sometimes they do get rearranged on me for some
Oh,
reason.
okay.
I do not know why. Okay,
And you know
so
what? What is it with
hmm
these mods? They are on the spot with some of this stuff.
they really
Now,
are. They're so excellent.
oh yeah.
I chose really well for this show.
I mean, we can't hold it against her that Miss Sunrise is from Georgia, but she does well.
Oh, come on. The accent is kind of cute.
Oh, I grew up with that accent. It's just normal for me. That's talking to my mom.
Oh, well,
So
come on. I'm from Toronto. Any southern accent is cute to me.
yeah.
And okay, so yeah, power lies to paralyze. It's a great name. It's a little hard for me to say, but
Yeah.
they have some really great content, and it's short videos, so you can click through a couple of them, while waiting at a doctor's office or something like that. So anyway, this one that I picked is Scientology's elite slave labor force, otherwise known as the Sea Org.
Members of the Sea Org are indoctrinated in
Oh, see, now this happens to me. I don't know why.
conditioning and the Sea Org's ideology. Members of the Sea Org are indoctrinated into an extreme version of Scientology's ideology, which emphasizes total dedication to the cause. The organization demands strict obedience to authority, typically embodied by David Miscavige and other high-level officials. The members are led to believe that their participation is crucial for the survival of humanity and that the fate of the universe depends on their loyalty and performance. Total surveillance and control. Their daily life is governed by rigid schedules and extreme discipline, creating a cycle of mental exhaustion. This perpetual pressure makes it difficult for members to step back and objectively assess their situation. Isolation. Sea Org members are cut off from their families and any outside support that could offer a different perspective on their condition. This enforced isolation further erodes their ability to question their reality and maintain independent thinking. Conditioning and the Sea Org.
Now, is that
So,
AI?
sorry?
Is that AI?
Is that I do not know if that's AI or not. I have no idea. That's why I
It's
said they.
yeah. Yeah, it seems like that's AI. Uh, I Mark Fisher and I had been talking about that. He does a lot of work with AI for his channel, the one where he's the Vegas travels, or I forget what it's called. But yeah, you're seeing a lot of those pop up, and there's a lot of people that can have 2 or 3 channels, all of them doing AI content, and you wouldn't
Hmm.
even know they're linked at all. So
Yeah, yeah. Um, at any rate, yeah, I like how they break it down so that you can take in some pretty good information in short bits and let it sink in before you move on to the next
right.
bite.
Well, and everybody has their niche, and that's one of the big things about YouTube and the online content is being able to find what works with you, and that For some folks, I mean, it turns into million plus followers. But if you're able to just maintain a channel that's getting views and you're having reoccurring people that are coming, that's fine as long as you're getting the message out there and and trying to be positive with what you're doing. I
Yeah.
really I try to avoid all of these. There's a lot of the negative channels out there, and it's not just us. It's every uh, universe within YouTube. But
Mhm.
it's just nice to see folks that the only people they take their anger out on is Scientology itself, David Miscavige and the organization. I don't like to see the ones where they're attacking staffers or Sea Org members, because the thing is how close are those people from being the next Ononora, the next Serge Del Mar? And
Yeah.
that's why I think that when you're dealing with those kinds of people, that showing them some compassion, some empathy is very important.
Yeah. No, I agree. And generally speaking, when I go out there, aside from suffering from brain farts, because I have the information's in my head,
Right.
but my brain just blanks on me, I tend to just wish everyone a good day or a good
Mhm.
evening, depending on the time of day that I'm out there. Um, and I try to get them to interact with me on a friendly level
Right.
so that they recognize that I'm not there with evil intent.
Yeah.
That I'm literally wishing them a good day and being sincere about it. And hopefully that makes me appear more approachable if they decide that they want to leave. I
Yep.
don't fool myself into thinking that I'm going to convince anyone to leave Scientology, but I also don't want to rule out that possibility with my own behavior.
Well, see, that's the thing is you never know. You never know if that person's on the edge where they're just trying to find the way to break. That's why I like seeing things like Dusty doing up the cards that he can hand out to them, the little flyers. Windy City Thetan watched how he does his, and that
Yeah.
I think that's very important because you never know how close those people are from. They finally look behind the curtain and they're like, I'm not liking what I see. So
Yeah.
it I think that's showing some empathy, some compassion. I look at it like a teenager. A teenager comes home, they're like, "Mom, Dad, I'm in love." You try to push them away from it, and they're going to hang on to it even tighter. But you're like, "Okay, well, tell me about it. Share your experiences with me. Let me know." And then suddenly they start seeing, well, yeah, it was great while it lasted, but I'm not really there. That's the way
Yeah.
I look at it. So and if you look at a lot of the former ends, and I don't like, because so many people get upset about second, third generation, those kinds of things. So I just call them former ends from now on.
Yeah.
Otherwise I just call them friend. But the thing is that you look at a lot of them and you see what looks like a repressed childhood that is starting to finally mature and come out of itself. And there's a lot of people with that are former Scientologists, and they were lifers. They were born into it, and you see the fact that they didn't get to have their teenage years. They didn't get to have their young adult years. None of them went to a prom. Never, none of them went
Yeah.
to a homecoming. So they're starting to catch up with everybody else. They could be 40 years old, but still have that repressed mentality that you see in a teenager.
Yeah.
And so you see that with there's a lot of people who are in the Sea Org now that were born and raised Scientologists that are finally now starting to realize I've been getting screwed my whole life. And it's that little bit of compassion and empathy that could help them. They may not come to you, but they might take that card and look on the back. Next thing you know, they're calling this SPTV Foundation or the Aftermath Foundation. But the big thing is that if Scientology loses another member, that's a win for us.
Exactly. Exactly. And honestly, I'd rather they go to the foundation because I don't have the tools
Yeah.
to, get them any further than walking out the door.
Hmm.
So,
But
anyway,
thing is
mhm,
that you want to leave? Come on,
yeah,
I'll get you to the people that can help you.
yep,
So,
exactly, exactly. So next we have auditing Scientology in Kansas City,
okay.
I think. Yes, I always have to double check.
Oh yeah, half the folks I don't even know till I actually talk to them and meet them online. A lot of the other creators, I don't know where they're from. Everybody knows I'm from Michigan, but if I don't get a chance with 200 channels, it's impossible to keep on top of everything that's out there.
Yeah.
So
No, I agree completely. I just, for some reason, there are certain people that I'm able to remember where they actually are located, and it's amazing because I generally don't have a brain fart on that information. So I take that as a win.
yeah,
Okay, so this was just yesterday afternoon, I believe, and just a nice little conversation with a guy who parked his car.
nice looking Tesla though.
Shoot a selfie there?
No, I'm just keeping.
Whoop.
Now, see, mine will do that too, where I'll try to put them to full screen. But what mine
Yeah,
does is it restarts the video.
Shoot a selfie there?
yeah.
No, I'm just keeping track of the non-activity here at the Cult of Scientology.
Oh, yeah. I love this shit.
Yep.
This has been the weirdest thing that's happened here, huh?
Well, I don't know.
You seen anything weird?
Anything weird? Yeah, I've seen a few things that are weird.
Yeah.
Like one morning I was over here, watching people come in, and this guy comes over to that corner and sees me. He turns around and he drives all the way up to 17th Street and down McGee, and he comes up the alley and in the back door of the building,
Weird.
which
He didn't want you to see him going in it?
he didn't want me to see him going
Oh,
in.
that's weird. They're gonna monitor that meter, aren't they?
Yeah, it's not. Yeah, they are.
I'm gonna-
Now, see, I'd wonder if
So
that guy's actually a Scientologist.
no, he went off in the opposite direction.
Oh, did he?
Yeah,
'Cause believe me,
yeah.
they're not above having people act like they're somebody else. That's for sure.
Oh, definitely. But yeah, he put money in the meter, and then he came back and went past Mike and towards the downtown area. And the only reason I know what was in that direction was because Mike had spent some time showing us on camera what was off in the distance.
Now I
So
watched. I think I jumped in on one of his lives the other night. What from the chat? So
yeah,
that looks very familiar over there. I think he was actually he had his had signs with him and everything, and
yeah,
they were following him around.
yeah,
So,
yeah. This
okay.
this does happen to him. All right, so see, disappearing notes. Here we go.
Mhm.
Just to keep it in order, mostly so that the mods don't get mad at me because I definitely do not need that. um, oh,
What's going on in
sorry.
Perth in Africa there, Journey?
Oh, sorry, I got the wrong comment.
Yeah.
There we go.
Do tell, Journey.
Well, I think, yes, she said tomorrow, so I think she's going to make us wait.
Ah.
The suspense.
Oh, by the way,
Um,
you do realize today is Friday the 13th, right?
I do. I do.
All right.
Listen, I have a black cat. I'm not terribly
Oh,
superstitious.
I've worked in the haunted attraction industry since I was like 12 years old. Uh, I actually used to do consulting and build props for haunted houses, things like that. So Halloween is my favorite holiday of the year. So
Uh,
that's something I absolutely love. And the crazy thing was I've been so busy as of late that the wife is the one who she's like, you do realize it's Friday the 13th is your day. So
the only thing I now like about Halloween is the specials on chocolate. Um, uh, the neighborhood kids actually don't usually come around to the doors on my street because there are wealthier houses um, that
hey, we used
intersect with our area. So
We used to take the kids over to there's an island here in the Detroit area called Groseal, and that's where there are literally billionaires living there. So we would
Mm.
take the kids over there. Then we'd take them to Trenton, which is I was reading that. No, I didn't know about the orphans. That's going to be really interesting. Is Perth going to be doing that on her channel? You guys going to be doing it together? What are you doing, Journey?
They've been doing it together, so I imagine they're going to continue that. They've been working together on this. They had been working separately, and then they realized
They're working
during
on
a
the same
live
thing.
that they were working on the same things, so they work together now.
Yeah,
Um,
it's amazing how you find out that you're not the only one doing it, but you're working towards the same goal. There's been a lot of great friendships have come out of that. Oh, that's good. I tell you what, if
oh
you
yeah.
knew the amount of people that get so upset about the father Ben and the sisters, oh my gosh, the hate mail we get from that. Oh my. And
Yeah, I imagine that yeah, there are some people who cannot see the humor in it. You
I'm a
know,
Christian. I go to church. I read the Bible. I try to live a humbled life. I try to live by the doctrine. It's not about making fun of Christianity. It's about making fun of the way people. We started that whole thing because people were saying we were in the cult of errantology. So
yeah,
that's
I
that's
know.
how that all came about. And and be honest, Cheryl was actually in some kind of nun order at some point. So
Yeah.
we thought, you know what, let's just do this. And then with Jerry doing Sister Steph and those things, we're like, this is just perfect. And
Yeah,
if you
I think it's hilarious. I absolutely
we have
do.
so much fun doing that. And if you ever get a chance, talk to Jerry. He will have you wetting your britches. He's so funny. So yeah, I was just reading Journey's
Yeah.
excellent. So, but yeah, you'll find that there are some people that just can't understand that humor is humor, and it has nothing to do with insulting any particular person, any particular religion. It was responding to people saying that we had joined a cult ourselves,
Yeah,
and so we thought,
exactly.
okay, let's. That's like when a
The
certain
bad
person.
actor shirts.
Yep, that's exactly what I was going to say. When we had a certain person came out saying, "Oh, Poe's a plant. He works for LAPD." I haven't been to LA in 30 years, and I don't know how many times I got to say it. If I'm a plant for LAPD, I want to know where the heck my money is because they owe
Hmm.
me for quite a bit.
Yeah. I'm still waiting for my check from Big Pharma because, of course, that's who pays all the protesters, right?
Oh wow, I didn't know that. So who do I get in touch with? Moderna, Pfizer, Johnson Johnson?
Any and all, because I'm still waiting. So, if you find out, let me know and I'll do the same.
Yeah, like you were talking about, if I if I wanted just to get big views of my channel, I could do it through doing the attacks on render, doing just doing straight out negative stuff.
Yep.
But if you'll notice, I try to do as much positive content as I can when it comes to the anti-Scientology movement, and not
Hmm.
positive on the end of Scientology, but on I want to give pointers on how if you want to protest, here are some things I would hope you'd do to keep yourself safe. Here are some things I would hope you'd do to make your protest that much more valuable in what you're
Yep.
doing. And yeah, I mean, my my biggest videos so far have been about Renda Earlia Remini.
Yeah.
So we're talking videos that are pushing over 30,000 views each. If I did that every week, yeah, I could just keep burning away at the views. But it's to me, it's not about the money. It's about putting out content that people find useful and helpful. Oh,
Yeah.
$47 now. Last week it was 15, Miss Sunrise.
Which she's in OSA.
Yeah. Now
Um,
I wish I had somebody give me $10,000 to go off and put a protest together. I'd be happy with that. I
yeah.
sure as the world wouldn't be turning around and trying to trash them every time I had a chance.
Right. No, I was going to say, especially because I'm in Canada, and this is not a knock on the U.S. at all, but I know that we are not, by any stretch of the imagination, as big in terms of content and audience as a lot of content creators are in the US. So I know I'm not going to really make anything on this, even if I ever do get monetized.
I think it's all within the genre because I have friends that are Canadian content creators that literally are putting out content getting millions of views. But I
Hmm.
think that there's been a focus on, especially in the SPTV community, the focus is on LA, and that's where it's been for quite a while. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't realize that down in Clearwater, Florida, they have immense power down there and a lot of stuff that are going on.
Hmm.
What? Becky, I know. Oh,
Wait, I missed
I worry
something.
about you, Becky.
Oh, yeah. So this was one of the accusations is she was
Oh, yeah, I
smuggling.
know.
Yeah. So
So, I've always thought it really interesting that you could say that she was the problem at the what was the Occupy movement, but the fact, over the fact of she supposedly, was doing those things, but yet you directly involve people who are addicted to these substances, and you somehow thought they weren't going to bring those into the Occupy?
exactly. And I was pretty much camped on Becky's stream every time she
Hmm.
was there. And I was at the time there was a link that I don't have anymore that you could watch several streams on one page.
Oh,
So
okay.
anyone who was live there, I would have them in a little window on the
Yeah.
same page. So I could see multiple angles. Never once was she ever seen on camera doing anything other than talking with people, and usually around the kitchen area that had been created there. So,
Yeah.
where on earth this was supposed to have happened, I don't know. She would have to be a really brilliant smuggler or something
Well,
for for her to
this
have
also,
carried it off without being on camera. And you
yeah.
know that if Scientology caught that on camera, they
Oh,
would
yeah.
run to the cops right
It'd be
away.
used. Well, I mean, let's also think about the fact she's been accused of not being someone who's certified in what she's doing, where she has the certificate.
Yeah.
She's been offered positions with the actual government run agencies that do those things, but yet she has no training. She doesn't know what she's doing, according to some people. There's the uh, I mean, the honestly, and I think that the community is really starting to wake up to the fact that this whole negative stuff, it's not about anything other than just getting clicks.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I know. What are you talking about, Ben? You're at every one of the channels too. So they just haven't made you mods for them. There you go. So, but yeah, but
Okay. Hmm.
go ahead.
No, I agree. I think
Mhm.
it was anyone who was seen as possibly being a threat.
Yeah.
Something had to be said to bring them down.
Well,
And there are some people who are drawn to that kind of behavior, and you're never going to get them to pull away from that unless it happens to them.
it also, if you start looking back, because when I started getting attacked, I started getting a lot of messages from people who were in other movements, and they
Hmm.
started sending clips from live streams during those movements, not just their own, but of that person as well. And if you watch, it's the exact same script in every movement that he's gotten into. He does the same things, gets in there, suddenly he's doing all these crazy things and he's getting a lot of notice. Then suddenly he starts calling people out as they're bad people. And he's admitted himself that he loves burning bridges. He
Mm.
absolutely loves it. So, I mean, all of this is going to pass soon enough. We just have
Yeah.
to bide our time, and then things will start picking up. I think right now, so many people just, they're so tired of the toxicity of a lot of the things that are going on.
Yeah.
Once all that starts weeding its way out of the movement, we're going to start seeing the numbers come back up, and we're going to start seeing the fight get picked up in an even better way. So,
Exactly. So as I said to you off air, that's one of the reasons why I started the show, is because I could see people losing interest in
oh,
having anything to do with SBTV, and not going out and protesting, not streaming, and I just it hurt my heart to see that happening. So um, sure, growing my channel, great, but
yeah,
really it was trying to put more positivity back in. And
absolutely.
even though I am a small channel, if I'm putting in positivity, hopefully that will spread through the
Mhm.
community. Other people will also do that. So
And that's the way I look at it. And that's why I bring on a lot of folks that, don't have the big channels. Um, you don't have to worry about, like, believe me, dealing with some of the people I've done, and there are people that I talk to, million plus subscribers for their channels. You want to
mhm,
work with them. Everything has to be their way, on their time, on their effort. And to be honest with you, it gets so boring at a point. Yeah, if I bring them on, it'll help my channel out considerably. But am I really willing to sell my soul to get somebody on for a few clicks?
yeah,
So I'd rather
yeah,
just put my content out, make it as positive as possible. There's going to be some things coming up about render. I'm talking with a few different people. I know what Aaron's stance is about the whole thing about the negativity and all that, but there are
mhm,
some folks who have some legitimate gripes and have some legitimate harm that's been done to them on the part of Mike Render. And you can't just ignore that.
no,
The thing is that no matter what, Render's going to do what Render wants to do.
yeah,
He knows how his actions have affected others around him, yet he remains silent about it. If I hurt someone by something that I say, then I want that person to realize I'm not saying it out of spite. I'm saying it because I want you to realize you've done something that's hurt someone else, or I want you to realize something that you're doing that's toxic to either you or others. That's why I'm going to say it. I don't want you to think that I'm just doing it just to harm you. If I
mhm,
sit there and I do that and I refuse to answer to anyone about it, refuse to say anything and ignore the people that have been hurt by it, then, what kind of person is that?
yeah,
And I've got some folks that have some legitimate dealings and have legitimate problems. We're going to be bringing it back up. So,
sure.
we'll see.
I can't. I would never even think to speak for Aaron or for anyone else.
Mhm.
But my interpretation of that whole thing that he said was just that he didn't want to platform people who were making all of their content negative content about other people,
Right.
particularly content creators. But I don't think he would have an issue with talking with someone who has a legitimate
Right.
problem with someone like Mike Rinder because of what he has done or has not done, has actively not done, which has harmed them.
Yeah.
So any of that, I don't think he should have a problem with it. And if he does, then in my own personal opinion, then that is a him problem,
Well, we're
because we are all independent, just like protesters are all
yeah,
independent.
and on top of it, we're both grown adults.
Yeah,
He and I we have the right to disagree with each other from time to time. We're not going to agree on everything,
yeah,
but the big thing is that, and I make it very clear on my channel, I support Aaron because Aaron didn't have to have anything to do with me from the start. I
right.
was I was a nobody in the shadows and just watching the SPTV content. So, you know, I support Aaron. I support, the stuff that he says. I've been, not only talking it, but I'm walking it on the positive content.
Yeah.
But I also think that you can't be 100% positive all the time. You've got to bring in some of that stuff sometimes. You've got to let people air their grievances,
Yep.
or it's just going to keep building. And these folks really need an outlet to get these grievances out there. And me doing it is nothing to do with trying to say Aaron's, I don't care what Aaron's got to say. I mean, the point is that I'm pretty clear about it. Nobody tells me what I'm going to do on my channel, but the point that, yeah, go ahead. So, Mama, she came in with a notepad, goes, "Can I run the washer or is it too loud?" Not even hear it in here. Unless she puts the blankets in there and then it sounds like someone's tearing down a house. So,
Yeah.
but
Listen, I haven't had an air conditioner running every show,
mhm.
and I've heard nothing about it. So I'm assuming you can't hear it anyway. So
I tell you what, I got one of those when I built this new studio here, and it's just one of the rooms in the basement that used to be an office down here. When I redid this to be my studio, one of the things we did was we bought one of those nice light setups and ceiling lights, and it's got a fan that's built into it, and it's a small fan like desktop size fan blades, and I run that all the time, and no one ever hears it. It's the most quiet thing you ever saw. So
yeah,
you know you can literally, I mean, I came in like the mountain type border that I've got that goes around this room. I literally cut that out on the laser out of cardboard. The wife came in and painted the room, and I mean, in all honesty, the room's 3 shades of gray. You don't even realize what color it is because of the lighting
no,
that I use for it. So, you know, and
yeah,
those lights, I've got 2 of those bar lights, less than $30 for the 2 of them. Amazon
wow,
is amazing sometimes.
yeah, yeah, it really is.
Well, problem journey is on a lot of these, the statute of limitations on a lot of them have run out. I don't understand the whole thing about California limiting and putting statutes of limitations on essay of children. I think that is a major offense to anyone who has either been a victim or knows someone that's a victim. It's a major
Hmm.
affront to them. But the statute of limitations on a lot of things, especially in Render's case, they've already run out. So it's not a
Yeah,
matter of whether or not you're worried about facing criminal charges yourself. Those statutes are gone. It's a matter of doing what's right.
yeah.
Dusty, I'm telling you, I ain't putting no tie dye in this room. All right, you can keep that hippie stuff to yourself. So,
So, Crazy Love and Rebel were out just yesterday, I
okay.
believe, or the day before. Uh, and I like this idea. They've got some flyers, and
Hmm.
they were actually scoping out different areas of town. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to maximize it, and I'm going to reload it before I try and play it.
I'm going to light up because I'm going to be running till probably 10 o'clock tonight. So,
Yeah, go ahead. Not in my house. I don't care.
oh yeah. No, I'm going to be looking at 4 to 5 hours,
He's like, no
and
shit.
I'm
Where
not on
is
a
it like
plane.
that? Here, they
Yeah.
have one here.
A lot of people don't know.
Yeah,
Some people think
Now, is this
it's all
Salt Lake
that.
City?
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Hi, how'd you get me? Thank you. Have a good day.
You see, that guy on the bike that was talking to me, he got the same hat as me,
Oh, yeah.
the Hardy one.
You wouldn't know that has anything to do with Scientology because they don't have it blazoned out like most places.
Well, that's
I'm
actually
Jewish, so
not
I would
a
give you some
Scientology
Jewish food.
location. That's
Oh, we're
one
in front of the
area
George.
downtown, I think.
Hmm.
Can I hand you these?
I don't know Salt Lake very well.
Okay.
Never been there. Um,
Neither have I. The Mormons scare me.
but they were just testing out a couple of
He's
locations
like,
and
no shit. Where's
checking
the
them out to
coconut?
see
Here.
what kind of foot
They have
traffic
one
there
here.
was
A lot of people don't know.
to hand
Yeah.
out
Some
flyers
people
that
think
they
it's all
have.
that.
Yeah, exactly.
The lady that just
Bye,
passed by
everybody.
is an excellent example of
Yeah,
culture today. Everybody is so absorbed into their online presence or all that, they miss so much in
You see
life.
what that
Yeah.
guy on the bike that was talking to you? He had the same hat maybe
Oh, yeah.
the Harley one.
Nice.
Now, see, I live out in a rural area outside of the Detroit metro proper, and I
I'm
used to love
Jewish,
it.
so I would.
There.
I would, for me, riding my motorcycle from the police department to home, and any big city has that industrial kind of smell to it. It has a unique aroma that you don't get elsewhere. And then I would hit this certain point, and then I would start smelling the green. And most people nowadays are sitting in their car, they're listening to podcasts, doing other things, got their windows rolled up. Drives me nuts that there are people that don't even know their windows rolled down because they never roll them down. They either have the air conditioner or the heat on. And me, I don't like running the air conditioner. And even in the wintertime, I have my window cracked just a little bit just so I can get some of that outside air going. And so many people,
Yeah.
they don't even realize how much of life they're missing because it's all online.
Well, the only thing I drive is a mobility scooter, and there are no windows on that, nor
Hmm.
doors. Uh, but I have to say honestly that there are so many people that I see when I'm out
Hmm.
um, staring at their phones that I nearly hit several of them every
Oh
time
yeah.
I go out because they're not looking where they're going. They think that they are because they'll glance at the sidewalk that's just barely above their phone.
Hmm.
But hello, I'm up here
Yeah.
and you're looking down here, unless you're seeing my tires, in which case it's too late.
The thing is that when you start thinking about it, how many deaths are there a year because people are on their cell phones, texting or doing things they shouldn't do? I mean, it is so consuming and it is causing so much destruction, and people are just so addicted to it they can't do anything else.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, it's a sad world we're coming into. We have, I made a video where I was talking about the fact that had you talked to me 2 years ago and said that I was going to have people that I met online and never met in person and were friends of mine, I'd have laughed in your face. But
Hmm.
I have people from all over the world now that I consider friends. Perth, T over in Australia, my buddy
Yeah.
Dana, or my other buddy Dave, both of them from Thailand, people from Japan. I've got people all over the world that I connect with. You got Sharifa Dorder, who lives over in outside of Amsterdam.
Hmm.
All these people I talk to on a weekly basis at least. And you know, yeah, I agree, but I still don't. It's the connection's not really as strong as it would be if you met in person and
Well,
you could
sure.
hear the inflection in the voice, the what their actual mental state is when they're saying something.
Hmm.
It's a really different kind of experience than just talking to someone on the phone or texting them online. And I
Yeah.
think so many people miss out on that.
Yeah. Um, Although I have to say that for people who are isolated at home
Hmm.
for because of illness or
Well, that's a completely different kind of situation. If you don't have that ability to get out there, that's going to be your lifeline,
yeah.
the social interaction through digital media. But if you can get out there, it's like my children when they were younger. Growing up, um, my grandfather was a prominent member of the Eastern Band Cherokee Nation,
Hmm.
and I grew up walking the woods, learning trail sign, learning track sign, those kinds of things. And when my children were young, that was one of the big things I used to do was I used to take them out and we would just walk the woods and I would just show them all the different things out there. Nowadays, I can't get them to get out of the house if they don't have to go to work. So, but they'll get up and they'll run to McDonald's or Burger King or something like that. But Lord, no, not go out and walk around without any
Well,
connection.
yeah. I
So,
mean, I used to try to get my kids to go outside and play
mhm.
like I used to when I was a kid. Um, but one
Oh,
really has a major fear of all insects, and the
my
other is
daughter.
like,
Yep.
yeah, and well, actually, both of them had issues with being bullied by some people in the neighborhood, so they just
Right.
figured it was easier to stay home where that wasn't going to happen. So
It's
I,
a weird world. It really
yeah,
is.
it is.
Um, Plus, now, do you live in Toronto proper? Do you live in a
I do.
suburb? Okay.
No,
So, and that's a different thing too. How many million people live in Toronto? Is it 2 or 3 million that live there?
three, I believe.
Yeah. So you're in literally its own encapsulated world there in Toronto. In any major city like that, it's a completely different thing. I grew up, we were literally in the woods. We were, out there in the, I could go out if I wanted to. I could go out on a weekend or in the summertime and go out and camp, and nobody thought a thing about it at 14 years old.
Yep.
You didn't have to worry about it. Nowadays, Lord, if your kid's out of your sight for more than a half hour, what's happened to them?
Yeah,
So
exactly. I mean, I used to go away to summer camp when I was a kid.
mm, every year, yeah,
Yeah.
church camp. I used to go to church camp every year.
Mm-hmm.
Mom never thought a thing about it, but nowadays, I mean, I saw the church camp just recently. When I first went there, it was literally cinder block dormitories, one level. Everybody slept in bunk beds. Probably not too different than how Scientology is, but
Mm-hmm.
we would, nowadays you go there, they have air conditioned dorms, and they have, I mean, it's more like going on a vacation to a resort than it is, camp used to be about
That
camping, used to be about being
that
out in the
sounds like
wilderness.
glamping, not
Yeah.
camping. We had
Although
cabins.
at 55 years old, glamping does not sound so bad anymore. So,
At 61, it sounds
yeah.
really good.
Well, Mama and I are talking about one of the things we want to do is we want to get a camper. We want to get a new truck and a camper, and that's why we've had the kids move back into the house. Is we want to start doing that to where we can just go out and be gone 2 to 3 months at a time, and they're here. They take care of the house. They're making sure everything's good to go, and we've been looking at it, and I'm like, no, I'm not getting in one of these RVs that has them little Xenu. Yeah, goodness. They might
Yeah.
get down there at some of them hippie concerts downtown. I
So I do want to show one more link that
Yes, ma'am.
I left off my notes when I redid them. I'm pretty sure it was on them on the
Oh, that's all
original.
right.
Um, because this is new and you may not have seen it. Oh,
Okay.
of
It's
course
okay
that
to
thing
look.
works.
Just look for yourself. Many people have escaped and spoken out, and many books have been written, as well as documentaries like HBO's Going Clear and TV shows like Leah Remini, Scientology in the Aftermath, and even Time magazine. In the past year, many have joined the battle to expose Scientology on YouTube, with over 200 channels currently on offer. The information is out there. You just need to look for yourself.
But what was done to us as kids with our passports locked up inside of those hotels, like, why? We didn't think it was a crime. They told us it was a valuable document. Oh, here, you guys, give us all your passports. Those are just valuable documents. We can just keep them in a safe. And then when you really need it to renew your visa, as we were brought from other countries, as if I'm not from fucking Mexico. But no, yeah, I was brought here to what? To be a slave? Because apparently the Constitution that apparently abolished slavery is just a piece of nothing.
9 a.m. to 11 p.m. That's normal. That's normal, if not even underplaying how many hours a Sea Org member typically works. And there's no separate schedule in the Sea Org for minors. It is all the same.
Teams of people were sent out to retrieve me, to force their way into my parents' home, to search for me at every airport, bus station, train depot, wherever.
When I was
Yeah, that's the reality.
Yeah.
And that's why we are constantly fighting the way that we are.
So
Is
that is a new channel that some of the former Scientologists got together and put together, called Scientology: The Real, REEL, Truth.
Okay.
So it's about a 7-minute video that they just premiered yesterday or the day before. And I believe they're planning on putting up more. It's with the goal of people sharing those with their representatives in the U.S. To get them to go on record as to whether or not they will back having hearings on the tax exempt status.
Well,
So,
if you listen to Mona Fat Grammy, it's that's a hard one right there, the tax exempt status. What we've got to do first is we've got to get the Department of Justice to get the FBI in line and make them do their job.
yeah,
That's one of the big problems. The consent agreement that was signed between the IRS and Scientology literally restricts so much of what the IRS can do to Scientology. And that was through fair gaming and what they did to the director and to the higher ups in the IRS. I mean, think about the kind of chutzpah it takes to go after the IRS. I mean, literally everybody fears the IRS,
yeah,
but they've gotten it to the point where they were taking out full page ads, making these people sound like they were involved in heinous things. And so they literally broke the IRS. What gets me is the FBI was infiltrated in the largest infiltration ever in our federal government was done by Scientology to the FBI, and yet the FBI still doesn't go after them like they should. So that's
and
why
they
we have the
infiltrated here in Canada too, by the way.
oh yeah. Well, see that's the thing, like we were talking about earlier, is how unsung a lot of the things that have happened in Canada are. There is just as horrible things have happened there in Canada as here in the United States. It's a lot more concentrated here simply because the sheer numbers, because Scientology is based out of the US. But
Yeah,
the things that are happening there in Canada and have happened are just as heinous as the things that have happened here in the US. We just get, it gets overlooked. It used to be. I enjoy, every time we get to go to Canada. I love the Canadian people. I think you all are some of the nicest, most welcoming people that there are.
well, we're polite.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
not always nice.
Well, I even when you're not being nice, you're still trying to do it in a nice way. And that's
Yeah,
that's the thing, is that you guys have your own problems there just as we have our problems. But I think
yes,
for a long time that and I think a lot of that has to do just with the sheer size of the United States compared to Canada. And I'm not talking landmass wise, I'm talking about the populations.
yeah.
So because I've been there. I literally, when I was working with the monster trucks, we did a show in Montreal, and then the next weekend we had to be in Vancouver.
Hmm.
And I've driven those highways through Canada where literally you go a day or two without seeing another car. And that's it's vast and it's beautiful country, but the people you're strong and in a lot of independence in the people of Canada. There's a
Yeah.
lot of strength there, but able to keep always it seems like a positive attitude about everything. And I think that that may be one reason why you guys get overlooked quite a bit, is because they're just too nice to even worry about. So but you did,
Um,
you
yeah,
know
I have to say that in our defense, okay, we were still a British colony and
mhm.
we were still part of Britain at the time. But do you remember how the White House burnt down? The original one?
Yeah, the one in Philadelphia.
Yeah,
The
the Canadians did that.
Yeah, well, that was, what I've never understood was the mentality behind the fact of they just came out of this horrible fight to win the independence from Great Britain. And then what
Hmm.
do they do? Oh, well, let's try to take over Canada while we're at it. What kind of stupidity was that?
Yes.
You have no
That's
reason
what
for
the
that.
Canadians were thinking too.
Yeah, I mean, if if the Canadians wanted the independence at that time, they would have taken the independence. It wasn't like the U.S. had the only license for independence in the world. But I mean, that's we both countries have their own problems. They have their own positives. But
Yes, they do.
if anybody has a the folks that say, "Oh, well, America's so horrible and so bad," yeah, we'll go over and live in communist China, live in North Korea, live in a lot of these communist countries where if you so much as say something in the wrong way, whether or not it's for or against the government, if they just perceive it to be wrong, you disappear. There's mass genocide going on in northwestern China with the Uyghur population there.
Yeah.
There are horrible things happening. A comedian was doing a show where he was talking to the audience, and he was talking about being in the Philippines, and a young lady jumped up, "Don't you talk about the Philippines, that's my people." And he's like, "Oh, you live in the Philippines?" She's like, "No, I was born in the Philippines, raised in the United States." He goes, "Oh, you ever go back?" She goes, "Yeah." He goes, "Let me ask you a question. Can you drink the water from the faucet?" She's like, "No." He goes, "You do know you're going to go home tonight. You're going to take a big dump in water that's cleaner than the water coming out of the faucets in the Philippines." And I think that that's one of the things people don't realize is they see all these great things about these different countries and things like that. And they think, "Oh, wow, it looks so great there." But when you actually, and this is coming from someone who has been to untold numbers of what are considered third world countries. The people are great. The governments are horrible. The services are non-existent. And if you honestly think you'd be better off living in communist China, go right ahead and try it. And we'll see you back in about 3 weeks. So,
Yeah. If you can get out.
yeah.
Well,
That's a
hello,
really good
Phil.
point. Yeah.
Sorry.
Phil, night before last, Feral Cheryl worked herself to the bone, putting together a list. She says, "I am going to trump Phil Jones on this one," and you didn't even show up. Oh, Phil. But I do have to get running. I have to get ready for my live stream here. This has been a real fun time. I think we need to do it again and continue the conversations. There's a lot that, I mean, honestly, 2 or 3 hours just aren't going to cover the whole conversations that are out there. But I really like what you're doing with covering the channels that are just popping up. And I think that that's the only way some of the channels are actually going to be able to survive is keeping that contact with other channels. And, that's one of the reasons why I try to jump in when I can. I'm still got a family life, still got a lot of things going on my end, but I try to, when I get a chance, to jump into other channels. And I really appreciate you bringing me on here, and I've really enjoyed this. And I agree. I think we should, work for another one of these and see what we can do with it. Just need to get it out there, advertise it a little bit more, and I'll be able next time we'll get a little more prepared for it, and I'll make sure I put it on my lives, let everybody know to jump over here at 6:00. So,
Well, that'd be great. Thank you. And thank you very much for coming on and
no problem.
and offering to come on again, because it's fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little different from the way I normally do it, but it's good. I like it.
Well, that's the thing is, like I said, I like, I used to use notes on my show, but I stopped doing that because just let the show go the way it goes on its own naturally. And I think that's for me, that's the realm I live in. It's just, I had to live under scheduled life, regimented life for so long, being in the military and then being a police officer. Now I'm doing it my own way. I don't give a crap. So, let's see. I'm trying to check out these. My district house rep didn't make the ballot due to lack of support. What are you doing, Dusty? Oh, let's see. Becky, I love Scooter Mom. She sends us to bed at a decent time. Yeah, we're all getting old. So, all righty. So I'm going to go ahead and head on out, and I'll see everybody at 8 p.m. over on my channel. We're doing another tonight. We're going to have the SOV citizens are going to be back, and we're going to be I'm going to be hitting them pretty good. So people seem to like those quite a bit. I also have an update coming up in the next week or so about Mr. Jeremy DeWitt, who has certainly gotten a lot of attention. So thank you all for being here and supporting the channel. And thank you, Scooter Mom. And you all have a good evening now.
All right. Thank you. Okay. I'm going to let you drop out. There you go. Okay. So before I let everybody go, because I have a very long list and I'm not going to put everybody through that, but I do want to let you know Pup Groomer is going to be out protesting in Vegas very soon. Her link should go up in the chat momentarily. Please, she needs watch hours, and she's at 732 subs. If you're not subbed to Pup Groomer, please go ahead and sub to her. I'm not seeing her link go up, so I am gonna throw it up in the chat myself, because she's probably busy, because you know she's got a lot of stuff. And see, I couldn't find my keyboard for a sec because it moved. Anyway, yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I at least got one other link out there for everyone. And I want to thank you all for staying for the extended Scooter report today. We, as Poe said, we're going to try and do it again sometime in the future, and we'll try to promote it a little bit more. This came up after I had done the Monday Scooter report, literally, so we kind of threw it together almost at the last minute. But in the meantime, I want to remind you all, oh, hang on. I do have some starred comments to go through, and I remembered this time. Almost too late, but not too late because we're still on. Wow, Poe on the Go. Okay, well, Poe's gone now, but I'm going to show it anyway. I'll go through these as quickly as I can. And I know Sunrise had to take off for a little bit, I think, because she had to go mod for someone. Is Pup? Yes, she is back in town, as you can see. Thank you, Pup. I appreciate it. Even from long distance from home, you're still helping out. I very much appreciate it. Cinderella, that's dedication, and I appreciate it very much. Thank you. Yeah, I do. I love Sunrise. I love a lot of people here. And I think I showed this, but I'm honestly not sure what it was in reference to. So I'll just show it and go on. If Becky wants to explain it in the chat, she can. Okay, we got Journey. And Sam, that's great. If you would like, you can email me. My email has probably been posted a few times. It's scootermom5763@gmail.com. That would be terrific. So I do not have any more starred comments because, yes, watch hours. Thank you, Dusty. You were on my list, by the way. So I was going to promote you for watch hours. Oh, he was teasing them. Oh, yeah, of course he was. Yes. That's okay. They can take it and they can dish it back too. I know it. All right. So thank you all again for joining. And unless there's anything else anybody wants me to put up before we head out of here, because I'm sure that some people would like to, you know, have a break before they go watch watch whatever else they're going to watch tonight. There are quite a few people on, or at least there were before I went live. Let me just double check. Okay, yeah, so we've got Eric Rader's live, Cubs champion, Great Gatsby. I know who that is, but they have a different name on their channel. Hitzel and Miss Kim are live. So we have a good choice of people. I'm not going to specify one particular channel to raid tonight, but by all means, if you drop in on somebody else's channel, please tell them I sent you, and I will see you all Monday. Oh gosh, it's Friday. That's right. Okay, so Monday, it's going to be a short weekend for me. Which reminds me, I really do need more people sending me clips. I appreciate there were a couple of people who sent me clips. Stylotta, if you're still here, I do apologize. I didn't get to show the clips that you sent me. I will save them and show them on Monday. Okay, room raid Ms. Kim then, by all means. And if, I can't imagine why, but if you don't want to go to Ms. Kim, you can go to somebody else's, because there are a few at the moment. And I will see you Monday. I've now lost track of what I was saying because brain farts are us. How many times have I said that today? I really do need to set up some merch, I think. Brain farts are us would be a shirt. Okay, so I guess it's time to play the outro. And I will see you all hopefully back here on Monday at 6 Eastern, 5 Central, and 3 PST. Did I get it all right? And the rest, I'm sorry, I have no clue. So, everybody have a great weekend. Be safe. And like who you like, follow who you want to follow. Don't let anybody tell you to